Hello, and today we'll be talking about zoning. So when we think about valuing a property, what we usually do is we look at other similar properties and we look at their market values, and then we apply it to our property by looking at how similar or dissimilar the properties are, because as you all know, no two properties are identical, which means it's very hard to attach a price to a particular property on the basis that, but these other properties are selling for this much. It's done by a kind of adjustment method that, well, they are similar properties, but this one has a larger garden, so we'll increase the value by this much. So it's not exactly a science, but this is how it goes. Now, what happens with retail properties is they're valued a bit differently. If you want to attach the comparable you have for similar shops, you can't just get that comparable, by the units, so whether it's square foot or meters, and then times it by the area you have to zone a retail property. So the idea is that when you have a retail shop, the front bit is the most valuable bit because you have the windows which attract in customers. So you would rather have a property which has a large frontage but less depth, so it brings in more customers, and also the customers aren't likely to walk to the end. They just kind of want to stay in the area, pick what they want and go. So that's the theory behind it. So what that essentially translates in is that when you have a retail space, you need to look at the floor and you need to divide the depth by 6 meters generally. In central London and Scotland, some parts they use 9 meters, but the general rule is you do 6 meters. And so if you have a square rectangle and you're dividing it by 6 meters, essentially you're creating rectangle zones. As I said, it's more the front bit that's of value. We don't really care about the sides because you'd rather have a property which was wide when you're looking at retail than narrow and deep, because who's going to walk till the end, and it's a window which captures the buyer. So once you divide it by 6 meters, you get zones. And the key bit here is that you can only have up to 4 zones, so zone A, B, C, D, each of 6 meters each. If the property is deeper than that, then you call the rest of the remaining bit the residual zone R. That's what happens. And then what you do is you take the areas. So you take the area of zone A as for what it is. So it will be 6 times whatever the width of the property, the frontage is. But when you get to zone B, you're going to work out the area again, but you divide it by 2. And then you get to zone C, you divide it by 4. And you get to zone D, you divide it by 8. And when you get to the residual, you divide it by 16. So each time you're halving the area because it's less valuable to you as a business. And then you add up all these adjusted areas. So you add up the initial zone A, then zone B, which has been divided by 2, etc. And you add it up to give you a total area, ITZA, which stands for in terms of zone A. So this is the area in terms of zone A. Then it's very simple. Then you can apply your comparable, obviously saying that, okay, well, the difference between these two shops is the location. So just say you have a comparable of £100, but you're in a worse location, you might say, okay, let's make this 85 because location plays a big deal. And then you get that £85 per square meter, and you times it by your new adjusted area to give you the value of a retail property. So that's the key thing about valuing retail properties, and that's how we zone retail properties. Thank you for watching.